is an adaptation of Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. It's about the Younger family in the early 1950s in the south side of Chicago. And each member of the family is sort of looking for their next step, their way up, their way out into the rest of their lives.
I think they've had a little bit of a pause, if that makes sense, in the sense that they've been kind of missing each other. But I think that's what happens in any marriage. But I think that there's definitely that spark there.
They once were young and fresh, and they're still very much in love. I think they're a little spicy too, and trying to work through the challenges of aging and raising a family.
Beneatha is the youngest sibling of the youngest. She's Lena's daughter. She's a student, and she is about to go to med school and wants to become a doctor.
Joseph, he is a Nigerian immigrant. He met this beautiful young lady and just became enamored.
Lena Younger is the matriarch. She is a strong and loving and hardworking woman.
Judd has written a really beautiful score for this kind of classic African-American theater piece. What they've all done with it is really taken some of the moments in the play and found ways of beautifully kind of expressing and exploring some of the thematic ideas of the play.
So much of the music and the movement arises so naturally in each different moment that we're in. When the music comes in, it makes sense. It all just adds and kind of heightens the reality.
There is a lot of conflict in the piece, but they're figuring out how to move forward with all of the opposing forces and ultimately succeed in whatever way they do that. And I think that leaves us with a feeling of like, okay.
Working with an all-black cast it's an amazing experience, something that I think as actors and performers of color, we don't often get.
It's sort of a story about love, and we don't get to, as black performers, we don't really get to tell the story of love too often.
And it's not simple love.
It's not simple, it's complex.
It's not just like the puppy love. It's definitely, these are people who are struggling to find it through some turbulent
real,
times.
it's raw,
Yeah.
it's intense.
What resonates with me about Lena in particular is she reminds me so much of my grandmother. She sang to her plants and she talked to her plants, and the rest of the family was just kind of like, okay, don't mess with the plants. But so that's why this particular story resonates with me, because I feel like I get to tell my grandmother's story.
But for, I guess, the both of us, our characters, like a sense of community, like what is community? Like where do you belong in the world? I feel like that's something everyone can identify with. Like, who am I?
I really relate to my character Beneatha. She's still young and sort of finding her way in the world. She grew up in this small apartment with her family, and she wants to see what's out there.
It feels less like a timepiece and more like an evolution of a story that is continuing to go on.
The issues that they're dealing with in this play are still issues that are reflected in today's world.
What resonates with me, I guess, is just how beautifully written and expressed the family dynamics are. The family grapples intensely with decisions and how the decisions affect each individual in the family, but also as a family unit. I just find that very reflective of like not just black families, African American families, but families.
The audiences should come see Raisin because the music is phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
It's so beautiful.
And it's so easy to forget that the show won like the best musical Tony. And for good reason. Like the show is really, really good.
It's like, oh, like there's a musical that's based on Raisin in the Sun. Like, what is this? And I think it's an interesting piece.
I love Astoria because it's so family oriented, and we're telling a family story.
Astoria is just such a nice change of pace.
I like working in Astoria because I like the neighborhood.
But also, most importantly, Pita Hut, Pita House, Pita Pot.
I love Astoria. There's a lot that it has to offer: food, drink, etc., but also the performing arts.
Pita Hut. It is so good. Come see Raisin!
Wait, should we say it to the camera on that one?
One, two, three. Come see Raisin!
Come see Raisin!
Take the N of the W to 30th Avenue.
May 4th through the 27th.
Woo!
It's so I know.
I'm a natural.
Bruth Media.